Appearance and equipment. It is well known that the Imperial Roman army was equipped and supplied by the state. State-run factories produced weapons, clothing, and armor. The state provided rations and medical services. It ran stud farms to raise cavalry mounts. The Latin lists 35 state factories of Latin across the empire at the state of the 5th century, producing everything from catapults to armor. There are also state-run clothing mills and boot makers. It has been assumed, therefore, that the late Roman soldier was uniformly equipped, and modern reconstructions usually present such a view, even on campaign. Many modern authors have studied the available evidence and have come up with theories on the uniform distinctions for legions, cavalry, and Latin, based on the assumption that all units of similar name would have the same uniform. Such theories are probably grossly inaccurate. By the end of the 4th century, uniform issues were beginning to be replaced by clothing allowance. And by the 6th century, even weapons and armor were expected to be purchased by the soldiers from an allowance. A record of 423 states that 5/6 of the amount raised to clothe the army should go directly to the troops as a cash allowance, and only 1/6 be allocated to state clothing factories produce uniforms for recruits. The troops of Latin probably bought their clothing from stores attached to the fort. Even if such stores were furnished by state suppliers, we can assume that a certain amount of local flavor would have crept into the soldier's appearance. Since many soldiers in the 5th century Latin have other occupations, it is unlikely that a high degree of uniformity could have been imposed on them once issued uniforms have been replaced by clothing allowance. It is generally assumed that clothing of the field army would have shown more consistency than that of the Latin. However, because field units have no fixed base and were nearly always on campaign, regular supply from a fixed source would have more difficult. I missed the sentence.
Like I just stopped.
Yes. Huh. Let's skip the paragraph. In the campaigns of the 5th century, in particular, were notorious for the participation of barbarian allies. We can assume a fair deal of cross-cultural exchanges between the soldiers of different nationalities that served side by side. We would have been very hard-pressed indeed to distinguish between a Roman soldier, perhaps born a Goth, serving the army of someplace, and a Gothic soldier, perhaps born a Roman, in Alaric's army. To identify such units in the field, the Latin says the shield should be of the same color, and implies that the helmet plumes were also in a uniform color. Such simple details can provide a degree of uniformity. The Latin lists unit shield patterns in the same way as modern equivalent might list unit cap badges. This is not guaranteed that all men in the unit would have carried well-painted shields. Such a battle damage shields would have been end of page!